just the two of us. There is nothing that can go wrong, just the two of us. Like 500 Stones, episode 19, just the two of us. As soon as the person canceled, or that we couldn't get, yeah. So as soon as we found out we couldn't get anybody, that was a song that I was going to use the intro. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no.
it's a shame. It's a shame that song is not on the list because that has
Honestly, I agree with you. That's a great song, actually, and I think that should be on here.
You have you're in new digs. Is that our new studio? You actually match the wood finish now in the background.
Sure did. It's one room over. There's only two rooms in this entire place. It's this room and that room. But yep. Welcome back to 500 Stones, everybody. Brooklyn Vale, Andrew Barr. We were supposed to have Cody, but then events happened, unfortunately. But it doesn't matter. We're still gonna have a great show today. Who knows? There may be other surprises coming up. So who knows?
The fact that some of these songs are even in the conversation of like top 50 greatest songs ever, because obviously like each 25 songs that had like a unique sort of like kind of theme or whatever. But I find for these ones, these are like 2,000 songs that you thought were incredible, but not as great.
Interesting. I still haven't looked at the list because I'm not a goddamn Canadian.
You're far too committed to that character bit.
What character? What bit?
Our hand has been revealed. We have access to the internet. We can look up. This isn't like a cult where it's like you can't read anything Rolling Stone says. We only follow Billboard.
Yeah, only follow Billboard. And I don't know what you're talking about. I've been using the magazine. So with that, last we left off, we were at number 51, Dionne Warwick's "Walk On By." Any last thoughts about that song before we move on?
No, I still have the weird trivia fact that I hadn't had last week. The only reason I know her is because of We Are the World.
Fair enough. First time I ever heard of her was Saturday Night Live. I can lie. But let's move on to number 50, "Gasolina" by Daddy Yankee.
Wait, this is 2010?
Yep, sure is.
So I thought this was like 1999, 2000, because I could have swore that I heard this in like grade 7 or grade 8.
Honestly, I remember seeing this on MTV, so I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, because this is everything. This is everything about like. Sorry, try it again. This reminds me a lot of like junior high and like going to dances for the first time, and how awkward that was, and just how weird it was. Like this was the first time I was introduced really to like club music of any sense.
Yeah, so I think lately he's been trying to call himself the reggaeton king, and honestly, I think that's fair because this is really the first kind of reggaeton-esque song that I've ever heard before. As I said, I remember seeing this on MTV.
This is reggaeton. Reggaeton's a little more mellow. Like this kind of goes balls to the wall.
I mean, this is like the rock pop version of reggaeton, I would say. But that's his moniker that he wants to go by now, the king of reggaeton. I do remember seeing this on MTV and just being like, "Oh, this is really cool." They're playing a song that's completely in Spanish on MTV, and it's catching a lot of attention.
Gasolina walked so that Despacito could run.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. But you know what? I'm actually going to agree with you, but also rephrase that. Because with the energy that this song has, I think Gasolina ran so Despacito could sprint. Because there is a lot of like infectious energy in this song.
Yeah.
But like the production's actually really cool. It goes hard. Like this is a banger. But like, I guess I get the historical influence of this song, but 50.
Again, over some of the songs that we have talked about, is pretty crazy.
Mama, California Dreamin' was in the 400s. Like,
Sweet
and I love that that's
Sweet Child of Mine is a top 100 song apparently.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's not.
Wait, are you? No, fuck you. You cannot compare Gasolina to Sweet Child of Mine. It's not the same thing. Like, Sweet Child of Mine is like here. Gasolina is like here. Here and say.
I think that's more of an insult to Gasolina than it is like an overstatement of Sweet Child of Mine. Sweet
Child of Mine is one of the greatest songs ever made. Oh, God. Let's just move on to number 49. Doo-Wop, That Thing by Lauryn Hill. Brooklyn, start us off with this one.
Hey, this is actually incredible because this song is a bit of an anomaly. Like this was around the time that like top 40 stations were playing the pop songs, but they always took out the rapper verse. They always took out that section, which is really annoying.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
They didn't do that with this. Like this got played on like here it was called Magic 93. But I remember hearing this, and that chorus is so catchy. The some of the delivery that she's doing in the verse, I think is similar to like Andre 3000 and just like that unorthodox kind of style. I think this is like an accurate spot for it in the top 50. I think that verse in particular is one of the best female rap performances ever. Obviously, like we've been talking about, like Missy Elliott and Nicki Minaj way back when. But yeah, it's kind of a shame how she kind of went off of the hill, pun intended, and just like, not really a nice person outside of the
court. She is kind of making a little bit of a comeback. She just recently did a song with Nas, and it's actually like really, really good. But we're not going to talk about Lauryn Hill now. We're going to talk about 1990. What was it? 1998? Yeah, 1998. Yeah, no, this is incredible. Like, I think the main reason that radio got so attached to this is because it's got that kind of pun intended, kind of, sort of, that doo-wop kind of sound to it. But you're right,
Andrew. It has that thing.
Yeah, it's got the. Yes, we know what this song's about. Go away. I'm gonna take over for a little bit. You sit back in the chair, Mr. Producer Man. God damn it. But yeah, no, it's very. It's a great. I can't think of. God damn you, Mr. Producer Man! You distracted me. It's an incredibly smart song because it's not very forward about what it's talking about, but it's very obvious what it's talking about. The lyricism in this, it's just absolutely incredible, and her flow and that production. My God, that production is so great. It's so crisp and clear, and it's just
the horns work really well. The bass doesn't like overstay its welcome. It's kind of like pops in and out. But I was searching up the lyrics to find my favorite line, which is remember when he told you he was about the Benjamins? You act like you ain't hear him. And then gave him a little trim. But then I was going through further, and I was like, oh, this should be one of your favorite songs ever because it mentions Philly. So let it sit inside your head like a million women in Philly pen. It's silly when girls sell their soul because it's in,
Yeah, baby. Yeah, this song hits a lot harder in Philadelphia. I'm not gonna lie, they love playing this song.
Oh, really? Also, if you have, probably last thing I'll say, if you haven't listened to this record, go check it out. I think it is. Yeah.
There's a reason that this won Album of the Year. Like, it was one of those years where like the art really, really won out over the populism. All right, but with that, Brooklyn, I think we're good to move on to the next one, right?
I think we are.
Right.
We may be idiots for not moving onward.
Thank you. I was waiting, Mr. Producer Man. Whoa, what the heck just happened? It skipped down like a lot. Here we go. Idiotech by Radiohead. So this song is really cool. It's definitely Radiohead's most experimental. This album is incredible. And it's got a really interesting lyrical like dive into both like nuclear apocalypse but also global warming, like split up into like the first verse and the second verse, but 48 it's great as part of the album, and on its own, sure, like fine, I can see this being in the top 500. I could probably see this being in the top 250. But 48 just seems so high to me for this song, especially over other Radiohead songs. Like, we haven't even seen Paranoid Android or anything off of In Rainbows. So I'm just a little confused why this one is so high.
I feel like the little kid in the corner when Radiohead gets brought up because it's just like everybody's like, man, Radiohead's so great. Like
Radiohead's so great. They're one of the most influential bands ever.
Nazario stands them, and like the song comes on, and I'm like, you're right. It is interesting. The beat in it is really cool. It's hard for me to kind of catch on to them because I think it initially comes off almost as whiny, similar to how people hate Bono. I know that Noel Gallagher thinks Radiohead is like one of the most overrated groups ever. I was reading an article about that this week, but yeah, they're cool. But I don't know what it is, and it's this song. This song doesn't quite do it for me. I don't think it's in top 50 material as well.
Well, to be completely honest, this song is not the song that I would introduce anyone to Radiohead with, like at all. It's like one of the furthest things from Radiohead's traditional sound, which I highly respect, and it does sound really good, and it is a really good song. But like once again, you got Paranoid Android, you got Body Snatchers, you got Fake Plastic Trees, and you've got I'm just trying to think of one other one off the top of my head. Even Burn the Witch, honestly. But yeah, so one of a fantastic album and a really good song, but like just a little too high for this particular one. But let's move on to one I think more people will be acquainted with and more people would agree about its placement on the list. Tiny Dancer.
This is in a movie, I think. Were they like in a canoe and they were having a really happy time, and then somebody's like really angry and they started singing Tiny Dancer?
No? I'm pretty sure that they were curling. They were going to like a curling tournament. Like that.
Shuffleboard, actually.
Shuffleboard. Thank you. I always get them confused. One is a little sandier than the other. But Tiny Dancer by Elton John. Brooklyn, I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah. So how we were talking about Rocketman previously, in that if you like Rocketman, you probably don't like the rest of Elton John. If you like Elton John, this is probably one of your favorite songs, if not like between this and your song. I think, and also Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I think that one is a really good job. This song does a really good job of building up the tension. It has that like it has the two verses kind of back to back. So it takes a while to kind of get into the chorus, which is not the standard for a traditional pop song. I think there's one YouTube channel broke it down one day, and I think great pop songs have to get into the chorus within 40 seconds. And then even if you go back into like early like Beatles and like Rolling Stone stuff, they go even as early as like 25 seconds. But the piano in this is nice and soft, though the lyrics are kind of, we talked before how lyrics kind of introduce, like kind of bring you in right away. Blue Jean Baby, LA Lady, are kind of and then the scene that almost famous that I tried to paradoxically compare to with the canoe trip, but yeah.
I'm gonna make a lot of people angry. I think that scene is great, but gets a little overpraised. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. Yes, you are right. No, because that's in like the middle of the movie, and it always got sold in like top 10 lists as like the big kind of like climax. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh, there's still like another hour of this movie to go.
Yeah. Still great scene, great movie. Watch it if you haven't. But oh my God. Okay, so Elton John is my number 2 of all time. I'm going to see him in concert in a few months, and I'm so excited. They're cheapo seats, but still, I mean, it doesn't matter.
No seats are cheapo seats when you're seeing Elton.
There's no bad seat. You're right. We'll talk about how much I paid later. But yeah, okay. So here's something I want to talk about, like right up front. Late 60s to mid to late 70s Elton John songs had the best string production you will ever hear in a song. Like the swell of the cellos and violas and the violins in any of his songs are incredible, especially in this one.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, especially in the pre-chorus, like after it cuts out of that verse, and it's like they're not like staccato, but everybody's like the dum dum. Oh, how I feel so weak, lying here, no one near. Producer man's fucking cranky. Is this what we get for recording on a Sunday?
Maybe it's because Cody's not here and they're really good friends.
Oh, fair enough. Maybe the producer man was Cody.
Who knows? Maybe you'll never know until the final episode. Maybe, who knows?
6 seasons in a movie to find out.
But and honestly, this is some of Bernie Taupin's best work. It's not my favorite of Bernie Taupin's work or about Elton John's, but like just the vivid imagery. Holy God, that they create. As you said, Blue Jean Baby, LA Lady, Seamstress for the Band. And just like so many other like great flashes of lyrical brilliance. And Elton sounds great on here. It's one of the most instantly recognizable piano pieces. Like you start playing that and immediately 85% of the room's gonna go, oh, Tiny Dancer! Like, yeah, perfect. I'm so happy that it's here in the top 50. Might be the right placement for it, but
a tad high. This is probably going to go down next time around.
Probably. It's a song that's only gaining steam. Let me find out where this was last time.
Yeah, where was it last
Brooklyn
time?
Banter for me, just a little bit.
So my favorite song my favorite Bernie Taupin song is "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road." When are you going to come down? When are you going to land?
It's his too, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But because it's the best song he ever wrote.
Really? Huh. Oh yeah. So this is off of Madman Across the Water, which is kind of like in between styles, because would have been in between Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and Honky Chateau, where Honky Chateau is like he goes full hand into that like rockabilly style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's also a fantastic album if you haven't heard it. There's one song on that album that's kind of like, but that was at the time, unfortunately. So do you have any guesses as to where this was last time?
I'm going to say 126.
397.
What the actual fuck?
I don't know what happened. And maybe it was the growth of admiration for the movie Almost Famous. But yeah, this jumped so high.
It's sad that this song shouldn't need like the Bohemian Rhapsody kind of treatment.
Agree, but Bohemian Rhapsody needed that treatment as well. So we also haven't talked about that song yet.
No,
all right, ready to move on?
Sure.
All right, cool. Number 46. Paper Planes by MIA. Above Tiny Dancer. Okay. I'll go first on this one. Top 500, sure. Absolutely. It's very interesting, was very different, very unique for the time. Influenced a lot of people. Above Tiny Dancer? Really? Because like it's a very interesting, unique, catchy song. How much are we really saying with this though? It feels like someone. What's that?
No, you're right. You're not saying a lot. Like why this is as high as it is for the production.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's all it is. Everyone knows the chorus of "All I Wanna Do Is and take your money." Like that. That's hype. I don't even think that the beat was hers originally. For some reason, I think that this was like someone else's, and then like she kind of found it, said, "I want to hop on that." Let me just.
I mean, that happens with a lot. That happens with a lot of songs. It'll be, "Hey, I made this song. You should do this." Nah, pass it off to the next person. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. You know, I might be completely wrong now that I'm looking at this, but this is Diplo's song. To be completely honest, as a producer, he's the one who put all the sound effects in there. Yeah, I mean, as I said, top 500, sure, absolutely. I would completely understand why. It's unique, it's influential, it's different, it's still catchy. But to be 46 above Tiny Dancer, that's what we're going to compare every song to from now on this episode. It's just, what are we doing?
I think putting this above Tiny Dancer isn't like the worst. Isn't the worst like kind of take in the world. I kind of understand it. I think the first time that I heard this was in Slumdog Millionaire.
Yep.
Could be wrong. Yeah.
Nope. That's where it is.
Yeah. Shout out to DJ Bones. He would play this at every IPN. It's catchy. Like it's kind of has that mindless sing along ability. It's very good use of looping with the guitar. The kick of the drums is very catchy. MIA herself has a lot. She carries like a lot of swagger in this song, especially when you get to when you get to the part like some I murder. Wow, that's really dark. Some I murder, some I let go. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. 40. So yeah. Top 500, absolutely. Top 100, yes. Top 50, you're smoking too much of the good stuff.
You want to know where this was last time on the 2010 list?
Well, if they're doing the same thing that they have for the last few songs, they probably grabbed this out of the 400s.
Oh, my phone turned off. Nope. 236. So this was above Tiny Dancer back then, too.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't... What's wrong with this world? I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I think at this point, somebody just has a gripe against Tiny Dancer, where it's like, it needs to be in here. Yes, but only if Paper Planes is right above us.
Yeah. I don't get it. Shout out to The Clash, though. They sampled The Clash in order to make this beat. Love that.
Yeah.
Number 45. Ooh.
All my life I has to fight.
Yeah.
Finishing that.
What's that?
Not finishing that line.
Oh.
All my life I had to fight.
So yeah, All Right by Kendrick Lamar. So this, yeah, I have power too, producer man. Don't forget, I also run this StreamYard. Um, yeah, so I listened to this again just very, very recently because I was listening to the entire album, and it's not my favorite song on the album, but it's one of the top 3 in my opinion. Um, the song's crazy good. Uh, it's catchy, it's instantly memorable, it's so incredibly, um, produced and composed. That's the word I was trying to think of. Because anytime anyone tries to do, like, jazz, especially freeform-esque kinda jazz hip hop, it's a very difficult tightrope to walk. Um, and Kendrick Lamar does it incredibly well. One of the best at that. Um, and I think that the reason that the song has hit so high on this list, which I'm totally fine with it being here actually, was this was the unofficial anthem of the Black Lives Matter movement, when all of the marches were happening. Um, and you know what? I think for a song to hit on such a scale like that, and even before then, just being able to create this thought-provoking, smart, emotional song is an incredible feat. Well done, Mr. Lamar. Can't wait for the next album.
Yeah, no. As I was listening to this song, because you're talking about like how powerful it is, I love, I love the, I love how it can be used in 2 different ways. Because there were sometimes where I listen to this song and I feel like it's a spiritual successor to Let It Be. It's very calming in a way. I couldn't pinpoint what my favorite record is on To Pimp Like a Butterfly. Um,
I can.
I think if somebody had a gun to my head, I would say King Kunta, just because that's a fucking bop and a half.
Yeah, it is.
I love the production choice of using acapella in the background. It's just weird enough, but also not weird. Was it just like, or I guess like different enough in a way? We were talking about like Andre 3000 and how he's really good off of the beats. I would argue that Kendrick is one of the best in terms of like just rapping on the beat because he has so much momentum and his delivery it just like rolls on and on and on. I highly recommend if you haven't already listening to Dr. Dre's 2015 Compton album.
Yes.
Features on there a bunch as well as Anderson .Paak. And they blend really well because they both have smoked probably like 5,000 cigarettes. If not something else, because they have that like gravelly kind of tone, and I love it. Yeah, no, this is a great choice. 45 is probably a bit. Is it too high? Yeah,
No, I don't think so.
I think this will stay in the top 100 next time, but it'll be like probably 75 to 80ish.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's I think that's about the right spot. So I do want to say real quick, Thundercat on this song, great. I don't think people talk about Thundercat's like part of this song enough. It's like towards the end. Also, top 4 songs, not in any particular order on To Pimp a Butterfly. This one, How Much a Dollar Cost, King Kunta, and my personal favorite one being The Blacker the Berry. That one I want to see again later on. So, you ready to move on to the next one?
Sure.
All right, number 44. Nope, not that one. 44. Michael Jackson's
Billie Jean. Kill Coho on the line.
So, Brooklyn, how about you start us off?
I sound like a broken record. One of the best bass lines. I love this. It's so fucking simple, but it works. The music video is also iconic to this. It gave it gave Michael the platform to do the moonwalk. The instrumentation in this, definitely one of the more disco-y funk beats that Michael was using. The chorus and this the chorus in this is probably this easily the catchiest part. Like everybody, Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl that claims that I am the one, but the kid is not my son. And like how Michael performs that as well. It stays true to his character because everybody thinks of him as like with the high falsetto, and it fits that mold and it works beautifully. I love this song when it gets covered. The Civil Wars do a really good job of this, where they slow it down and do like a super bluegrassy kind of style. But it packs a lot of emotion too. Like he showed a photo, my baby cried. His eyes looked like mine. So there's something that he wants to talk about, which is crazy because everybody thinks of this just for like the Billie Jean line.
Mm-hmm. I also want to point out the Chris Cornell version, because I think the Civil Wars kind of take influence from that version. But yeah, no, this song, it's tight. That groove is fantastic. That bass line, that's not actually a bass line, is fantastic. It's also kind of Stan before Stan, in a sense, in a weird way, because it's a song that's basically saying, "Hey, look, don't like." It's basically like, "Hey, look, you have to be careful of who you sleep with as a famous person, because they can claim that kid is yours if they have a baby." And I want to propose this question to you, Brooklyn.
If only there was a way that science could prove these things. If only there was like DNA or something.
Yeah,
I was summoned. The fuck? I got a message from the gods of music that went, there's a song being talked about by Michael Jackson, and you're not on the show, so I have to come bitch you out for fucking talking about Billie Jean without me being here, you guys. I don't know what you guys have said so far. What have we talked about so far?
Not much, really. We were talking about the great bass line.
Yes. The icon. Honestly, top 3 bass line all time in the history.
Yeah.
You want to know that it's not really a bass line, actually. It's a synthesizer.
Fuck off.
It's the bass aspect of the synthesizer. Listen, you can't be like, it's not a harpsichord solo in all my life. It's an electric piano. It's still a bass line,
for real.
even if it's a
get fucked, bar.
Go on, go ahead.
Okay, so I think the thing that makes this song great is honestly the story that it tells. Like, yeah, you can talk about the music, part of it's great. Like, the bass is great. But like, the reason why this is probably stands the time as the best song that he's ever told is because of the story within it. And the sort of almost I don't want to say universal because it's not necessarily universal, but it's such a timeless sort of idea in music of the person that claims to have intimate relationship with you that you don't know, which was a real thing Michael was super scared of and paranoid of, and it happened to him like once or twice where he's like, nah, and that's like why in the 80s.
I was saying that this was kind of Stan before Stan.
Oh yeah,
and
like
way.
in the 80s, this happened to Michael all the time, where it was like, yeah, the kid's yours, and he was like, that is definitely not true, and like it got to the point where so many people were like, is Michael gay? Is that why he's like refuting it? And honestly,
get over here.
But that was and continues to be at least a somewhat running theory that Michael was actually like kind of like probably a homosexual, or at the very least a bisexual, and never officially came out about it. It's actually kind of interesting, that theory, but that's why this stuff, like this whole song's based on an actual thing that happened, like an actual letter he got during the making of Thriller. The making of Thriller is like honestly one of the coolest stories ever. Should be a movie. But like within it, like because they wrote, you guys know the story of the making of the album Thriller, right?
Not really.
Somewhat.
Okay, so essentially what happened is they wrote over like 100. I'm like pale ghost. The sun is just shining.
Here, hold on, let
hold
me
on,
help
wait.
you out there.
I'm gonna fix that real quick. There we go. There we go. I moved
the AV Club and Glee Club and even the chest.
Exactly. So the thing with Thriller is they wrote 150 songs for the album and recorded them, or at least a lot of them, and they threw all of them out because Michael is like, none of these is what I want to put out, and it's insanity. It's like nuts. And then one of the ones that they came back around, and he just sat down, he wrote like 9. And those 9 he wrote were the 9 on the album. Like after 150 recording sessions, sat down and just banged out 9 songs, and that's Thriller. And this was like the second or third one he wrote in the second session, which is like insanity.
They also
like really
didn't want to
cool.
release this as a single. They
Oh
didn't
no, because
want
they thought
to.
it would ruin his image. Image.
Yeah.
And to that I say his image has been the thing that Michael, it's like or hate him, he's been able to control that more than any other artist in the history of music. And he chooses to be viewed as Wacko Jacko. That's why, because he gives him more attention as Wacko Jacko.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. But yeah, this song's brilliant. The story of how they made it is nuts. The music video is great. The music video is one of the most iconic ones. When I got one of the first album I ever bought with my own money is the Thriller 25th Anniversary CD. And it came with a second disc called The Short Films. And it had Billie Jean, Beat It, Thriller, and Motown 25, his Billie Jean performance on it. So I watched all 4 of those on goddamn loop when I was like 9 or 10. Just forever. So I know this music video and the Motown 25 performance like through and through. I love Billie Jean. And like I think the remix they did for the 25th anniversary, Kanye's on it. They put Kanye on the remix.
Oh shit, that's right.
Which is insanity. Like
that's like taking a sour cream glazed donut and throwing hot sauce.
For sure.
That was great.
Oh, for sure.
That sounds great.
But let's be totally honest.
That only as somebody who has actually done that before, it only works if you use candied blueberry hot sauce. I swear to God.
Oh my God! Hold on, I'm gonna.
Okay, hold on. I'm bringing this up real quick because I'm actually really interested because I forgot all the people. When they did the 25th anniversary edition and remixed all the songs with new covers of people and features, will.i.am did "The Girl Is Mine."
Sorry, but
Akon did "Wanna Be Starting Something."
I forgot about that.
Fergie and will.i.am did "Beat It," and Kanye West did "Billie Jean." What an insane bunch of people for Michael to be like, yeah, come on, I want you to like fuck with my greatest work.
That's so weird.
It is. It's honestly insane. And then he had like 2 totally new songs and a never before heard underground mix of Billie Jean that's like 10 minutes long. We're on that album too. Is this the highest Michael Jackson song on the list?
I would assume because I don't, aside from maybe "Beat It," which I think we already covered. Yeah, we already covered that one before.
We did.
I would argue that this is Michael Jackson's most popular song.
Which is a hard thing to quantify considering the man has the most number 1 hits in the history of music. So it's like kind of hard to like. I would agree with you though. I think this is the biggest hit.
Yeah, this is my favorite Michael Jackson song. I think this is his best song. I think the only other like huge one that we haven't talked about yet is Thriller itself. But
yeah, but here's the thing with Thriller. The thing with Thriller is while I think the music in the song itself is a fantastic song, I think the music video transcends the song. Yeah. The music video is the thing that makes that song great. Yeah. It's the same thing as not to the same extent, but like Childish Gambino, "This Is America" is a similar situation where it's like the song is good, but the music video makes it art. Is because you need the visuals to be paired with the music. I think when you're thinking about Michael Jackson songs as to what can be higher and things that aren't here, if this is where Michael Jackson stops, let's consider that they probably don't have "Man in the Mirror" on this list.
Nope.
They probably don't have "The Way You Make Me Feel" on this list.
Which I know this is like an unpopular statement, not unpopular, but like
that's a top 5 MJ song.
It's my favorite Michael Jackson song of all time.
Totally fair. That's one of his best ever.
There's no
I think
black
that's
or white. There's no
no black or white.
You Were Not Alone. You Were Not Alone
right.
is one of the best '90s R&B songs ever.
Oh, for sure.
Human
and
Nature.
Other ones. And here's the thing. This is supposed to be what? The top 500 best songs ever made, not the top 500 most popular. Because here's the thing. For most popular, then this would probably be in the top 10, and it's not a question.
Oh, yeah.
For best, this should still be closer to the top 10 ever. But the thing that irritates me is that we're going to go through Michael Jackson's discography, and we're going to handpick and go, Billie Jean's the best song. And I don't have much of a pushback for that. But if you delve into Michael Jackson's discography, like through every song, track by track, like I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh yeah, I have done that. Every Michael Jackson song, if you go through all of it, Billie Jean, absolutely a top 5 Michael Jackson song of all time. I have no issue being at the number 1. But there's songs that he's put out across his life that were not big radio hits that are some of the best songs ever. Like, Who Is It was not like a major radio hit, but that is one of the best songs he's ever put out in his career. You Rock My World was a hit. You Rock My World was a hit, but it's his last hit before he died. Like
that was the first. Was that the? No, I'm thinking of another song.
It was the only single off.
Smooth Criminal is not on here.
No, yes, Smooth Criminal's not on here. Like that's the other thing is like You Rock My World is the last hit he put out before he died. It was the only single off of Invincible. But Invincible. Sorry, I know this is. I don't want to make your show super long, but like this.
You're fine. You're fine. I was gonna give it like 2 more minutes.
Okay, if this is the end of the Michael Jackson segment, then I gotta do like my big post-op Michael Jackson thing about his whole thing, which is just like, if you go through his albums and his career, each album is such a distinct, beautiful piece of art, even down to like, with the exception of like Michael, because let's be totally honest, Michael is a disgusting cash grab where one song of it is not even recorded by Michael Jackson.
Yep.
Like one song is just clearly a Michael Jackson impersonator, and it's shit. But like Escape, which was put out after he died, is like got incredible music on it. Like Love Never Felt So Good and Slave to the Rhythm. Songs that if he were alive, he probably would have proudly put up as some of the best of his career. And like you go through all of it, and Billie Jean's the one we're gonna say is at the top, and that's fine. But Michael Jackson is an artist who you could easily make a top 500, and it's all just him. Because he is through and through, thoroughly from Off the Wall on, is just album on album on album of quality music that he consistently changed his sound to every time. To have Off the Wall be like a genuinely great Death of Disco record before jumping to Thriller, which is the singular greatest pop album in the history of pop music, to Bad, which is like a reinvention of pop rock, to Dangerous, which is like the trendsetter for 90s music. When you look at it, you go through track by track. He set the trend in almost every genre in the 90s with Dangerous, from like Black and White to You're Not Alone's on History, but Who Is It? In the Closet, all of those songs end up setting the trend for the 90s. History is like the definition of the greatest hits album ever, with a whole second side of original content that's almost as good as the greatest hits album it's with.
Yeah, it makes
and then Invincible. Exactly. And then Invincible. Like Invincible is one of the most innovative pop records ever made, and no one talks about the fact that he created dubstep 20 years before dubstep on that album. Where it's like on the song Heartbreaker is a dubstep song, and he created it in 2001. And like, and then you even look at like after his death with Escape, you still have great pop music that's better than the pop music of the 2010s, with people of the 2010s making it sound like 2010s music. And I think like throughout time, Michael Jackson will be remembered, regardless if you like him as a human, as the singular greatest entertainer in the history of music. And I think he's earned that place. And to have Billie Jean as the representative of his career, I think is a great choice. It's a great song. To cap it at 44 is where Rolling Stones can go fuck itself.
Well, you want to know where it was on the 2010 list?
Yes.
58. So it's
whoever works at Rolling Stone, I need to let you know. I know you're listening to the show because Bar and Brooklyn are incredible, impeccable hosts and have done a great job with the show. And I know that the Rolling Stones are listening, so I'm just going to say this once and once only. Fuck your mother. Because putting Michael Jackson at 44 is the most disrespectful piece of shit take I have ever seen.
But Coho, if an acoustic rock group covers this with just a 12-string guitar, this is going to change music forever.
Oh, but hold up now. The Civil War's cover of Billie Jean's an all-timer. Let's be
absolutely. No, sorry. I was making a reference to
Wait, Brooklyn literally brought that up before you hopped on it.
Oh, yeah. No, the Civil War's cover, this fucking slaps.
Oh, no. I've performed the Civil War's cover of it because it's way easier because it's that I don't have to sing Michael Jackson vocals. Yeah. And and it's so... That's the thing. This song is so good that Michael Jackson has created a piece of art that transcends even his own sound and style, that people have been able to take the lyrics and change the sound behind it and make it just as good. Like the Civil War's cover is like this perfect bluesy haunting vision, and it's chef's kiss. Yeah. Sorry, I just totally came on to hijack your show to be like, fuck Rolling Stones. 44 is where you're gonna put the King of Pop's best song. Please. How many Beatles songs do we have left? Yeah, fuck off. There's probably like 2 entire Beatles albums higher than the best Michael Jackson song. As much as I love the Beatles, and as much as I love John Lennon and Paul McCartney, please spare me. They can't hold Michael Jackson's jockstrap. Like, come on.
Well, he did buy their music.
He did, yeah.
He did. That is the best story ever, too, which is like the most fucking cutthroat thing I've ever seen. Where it's like Paul McCartney comes to Michael and he's like, yeah, Yoko and I, we just don't have the money to buy our music. But you know what? Someone should really do that. You could buy all the music. And Michael's like, I could buy the catalogs of music. And it's like, yeah, if someone could do that and just give it back to us, that'd be great. And Michael goes, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna buy that. And he's like, I give it back to us, right? And give it back to us, right? And Michael's like, what are you talking about?
And give it back. You're gonna give us back the songs, right?
Right. And Michael's just like, what are you talking about? You just gave me the idea to become a trillionaire without ever having to make music again. Like, what are you doing? Like, all time.
Coho, thank you for coming on. We'll see you again soon, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be back soon. Don't worry, I'll be back. Whenever.
Okay, cool. Thanks, buddy. So with that, Brooklyn, let's move on to number 43. I think we've spent.
Yeah. And sorry, last thing. If we're talking about great Chris Cornell covers, hey Andrew, what's my ask you what my favorite Chris Cornell cover is?
What's your favorite Chris Cornell cover?
Patience, by the Guns N' Roses cover.
Okay, moving on to number 43, we have My Girl by the Temptations. I'm a start because I fucking love this song. That bass, we want to talk about iconic bass lines. My Girl by the Temptations, iconic bass line. And just like some of the most beautiful lyrics about love, honestly. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I got the month of May. Just really beautiful wordsmith work there. They got David Ruffin to sing the lead on this one, and he's not the one that they normally pick for the Temptations when it comes to their songs. But I think there's a good reason for that. Brooklyn, do you know who wrote this song?
I'm seeing that one. Smokey Robinson wrote the song.
The man that you said was on the verge of being overrated. So fuck you.
No, Smokey Robinson coming in hot with writing My Girl. I like this song. It's really good. What has kind of not necessarily dampened it, but it's kind of left me leaving more. Papa Moose does a really good version of this. They mashed this song up with Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And every time that I hear this song, I want to hear that mashup. Just because of the energy it has. But the harmonies that you get in the chorus, I don't think you get that moment in The Wait. If you don't have this moment of my girl, my girl, my girl. I'm not producer man. I am not on coke. I am purely a Pepsi man.
I fucking knew you were gonna say that. Go ahead though.
Even though I'm pretty sure there is, even I have been on the show drinking a coke before. But yeah, the musical kind of interlude, I guess, and this is when they have the strings come in, do 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 do. I think that's great, and I think that gives it a kind of charm and
I agree,
the overwhelming amount of glee, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I agree. And just the rest of the Temptations going, hey, 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 over that little part you were talking about. Yeah, I can't really say much more about this song. I love it so much. What about you, Brooklyn? Ready to move on?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. Number 42, Redemption Song by Bob Marley and the Wailers. Another one that I don't think I need to talk too long about, other than this song's amazing. The weariness in Bob Marley's voice is just paired with such a simple instrumentation, but just like lyrically, it just when you combine all of those with the lyrics, um, it's sort of like a hymn, and I think that it's just like a beautiful, poignant piece. What about you, Brooklyn?
Yeah, I when I first heard this, I was gave the eye roll. I was like, really? We're gonna throw on like a one man, one guitar song this fucking high, and of the Bob Marley songs, like this is the one that's gonna get there. I still think it's a little bit too high, but I do appreciate it. There is something very soothing about it, similar to how we're talking about Let It Be and All Right. Just like how he kind of falls out as he's saying like redemption song. But yeah, great song to kind of just relax.
Yeah, yeah, it's just such a beautiful, poignant piece. I'm okay with it being this high. Number 41, Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division. Brooklyn, how about you start us off this time?
Sorry.
Oh, okay, I'll start us off. So this is arguably one of the saddest songs I've ever heard in my life. First of all, just like the history behind it, with the unfortunate passing of Ian Curtis, just tied so close to this, it's impossible to disconnect. But even then, just like the instrument, like I think Brian Eno produced this. No, he didn't. But it sounds like he did. Because the production on this is just, it's gorgeously cold, and when you attach that with the lyrics, it's got some of my favorite lyrics in here as well. Like one of my favorite lines of all time is, it's very simple. It's why is the bedroom so cold? You've turned away on your side. Like that one lyric alone just captures this hauntingly sad visual. And that it's another one where that bass line is so good.
It's driving the beat along. It's such a great job, and like you consider that the song was out in 1980, and it's very influential of like indie rock, and that sound of like heavy bass, like guitars. You're probably gonna have keys in there. It's keys in there at some point. But no, it's good. I tend to mix up these songs with a couple of them because I initially see the title and I instantly go to the NXS song "They Will Never Tear Us Apart." But then whenever I hear the song and how they deliver like "Love Will Tear Us Apart," it's similar to "Lovers in a Dangerous Time." So I almost kind of sing that. I kind of say that like as a mashup when this comes on in the car, but
yeah. Yeah. I have a hard time talking about this song because it's such a sad song. Ready to move on, Brooklyn, before I, choke up? Okay, good. Thank you. All Along the Watchtower by the Jimi Hendrix Experience at number 40. The Bob Dylan song, Turned Electric, the song that Bob Dylan says is no longer his song. Brooklyn, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Bob Dylan got in some gripe, I guess, for going the more electric sound, because that was kind of seen as a betrayal of his style and somewhat his character. But yeah, as a child, I thought this was a Jimi Hendrix song, and then to it was like a very kind of mind blowing moment to be like, oh, this is you can act like this. You could take a song, cover it, and then have it become as internationally recognized as this one is. The wail that he gives in some of those lyrics. You can't see it, but my name in a StreamYard call is the Wildcat that growled. Because it's from this song. There must be some kind of way out of here. Said the Joker to the thief. But yeah, my favorite line I would say is outside in the cold distance, a wildcat did growl. Two riders come approaching. But yeah, it's a mix of that, and he still gets to be Jimmy. Because he comes off of that verse and he just shreds for about 30 seconds.
Yeah. Let me preface this. Let me start by saying Jimi Hendrix was the greatest guitarist of all time. He was the greatest guitarist of all time. I will listen to arguments on other people, but in my opinion, Jimi Hendrix was the greatest guitarist of all time. Nobody could play guitar with their teeth and make it sound the way that Jimmy could. Usually if anyone tries that, I'm like, stop.
There's guitar chords and there's like music theory that's built around him and stuff that he was doing. Like easily the most influential guitarist.
Absolutely. You can tell if you listen to this that this was originally a Bob Dylan song. However, people don't realize that this is a cover, and it is a cover, people. It's also Jimi Hendrix's only hit on the Billboard charts, oddly enough. Sad.
No Purple Haze, no Voodoo Child. I still love Voodoo Child. I think that's my favorite. I think that's still my favorite.
That's a good choice. Little Wing might be mine, actually. But yeah, no, it's just rock. This is just pure rock in its purest, rawest form. We also don't talk enough about the Hendrix experience as a band. Like that band as a whole cohesive unit is insane. The way that they can collaborate with each other. Yeah, this song friggin' slaps. You wanted to say Brooklyn?
No, I had tried to make a bad and Encanto joke. You say like we don't talk about, and then it's like Bruno.
Nope. Thank you for not doing that. Number 39, B.O.B. by Outkast. B.O.B. standing for Bombs Over Baghdad.
Yeah.
How about you go first, Brooklyn?
The music video for this is great. I think this is the first Outkast song I ever heard. Because it's I think the music video is him being like run down by like a bunch of girls, like Beatlemania in a way, or like he's being like
that's a different one.
Oh,
sorry.
Anyway, no, that's okay. But I love the energy that this song has. It does not lose any of it. Each like Andre and Big Boy get to shine in their each of their verses. The one thing that I love about damn producer man's on fire. The one thing I love about Outkast and about Southern hip hop in general is that it's very reminiscent, or it's very percussive in like the drumline kind of sense, where it's like, what can we do rhythmically that is going to wow everybody? Not so much the lyrics. It just so happens to be that Outkast can do these incredible lyrics and have that like unorthodox kind of beat. Like, because if you listen to this for the first time, like with Big Boy's verse, it can sound kind of jumbled. But then when you go back to it, it's like, oh, he's kind of like zipping and like zigging and zagging everywhere in between. Also, how the song ends is really cool. Like that I'm trying to remember the words, but
it's something like funk, soul music, electric revival.
Funk, soul music, and electric revival.
Yeah. I stand by. I think that this is one of the best produced hip hop songs of all time. because the production on this song is nuts, especially when that screaming electric guitar comes in, and it's awesome. The thing I love about Outkast as a whole is that these two guys have such different ways of attacking their flow. Andre is a little bit more elastic and kind of has like soul and funk elements to him, whereas Big Boy has kind of got this down and dirty, like traditional Southern style. But they just mesh so incredibly well, and I think that this is one of the ones where like the uniqueness absolutely is what makes this song so great, because the production changes like ever so slightly for each of them. It's small, but it's there. Yeah, I think the production alone puts this song on the list. This might be a little high. It's higher than Miss Jackson. I would probably flip the two, but they both deserve to be on this list. What about you?
I would no, I would keep them the way they are. I think Bombs Over Baghdad is better than Miss Jackson. Even though Miss Jackson is catchy as fuck, the energy in this is still unmatched.
All right, and that's completely fair. I understand. Let's move on to number 38. Oh, yes, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding. Mr. Pitiful himself. This is the first song I ever got introduced to for Otis Redding, and it's such a perfect song to be introduced to Otis Redding with, because how many more times can I say Otis Redding? It's got this. It's a very somber song. It's a little bit sad, but there's such a warmth to the instrumentation and the production, especially in the production when they add the sound of those seagulls in the background. Such a wonderful touch. But I think the fact that he's sitting on this the bay of, I think it was San Francisco. Yeah, the Frisco Bay. I think that was the smart way to go. And Otis Redding is just one of the greatest singers of all time, in my opinion. Like the tone of that man's voice was butter, but it was like a cinnamon butter. There was like just that extra bit of taste to it. Brooklyn, before
which one of us smokes pot again? cinnamon butter. Oh, jeez.
Go ahead, Brooklyn.
Okay, so
I stand by it, though.
Yeah. So this song holds a very, very special place in my heart. We had a binder. Yeah, we had a binder here for the longest time, or my dad did, of a bunch of songs, and this was one of them. This was one of them. This I have a memory of like one of the first songs that I learned on guitar was this. The bridge in this is great. It's like looks like nothing's going to change. Everything still remains the same. How he, in the second verse, there's a line where it's like, I still have nothing to live for. Yeah, because I've had nothing to live for, and it looks like nothing's gonna, like how to be kind of stops during that section. But at the end of this, and what kind of makes it funny is how he whistles at the end. I could never whistle. So we'd always get to this section, and we'd always just awkwardly stare at each other. Yeah. Fuck off. Let the bird, or keep the bird in the cage.
So before we move on to this, interesting story. So that whistling was because the song wasn't finished. Otis Redding never actually got to finish this song before he died. So he had placed that whistle in there as like a placeholder for him to get back to when he finished the song. And then he died. And the studio just decided to release it the way it was, and honestly, I'm okay with that, because that whistling at the end is just like a nice, poignant finish to the song, and it's just
it is what you would do if you were sitting on the dock of the bay. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 37, When Doves Cry by Prince.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you? I can't. I had to come back.
Who let him back? Who let him back in? Who let him back in?
Producer man.
I had to come back here because these chuckle fucks at Rolling Stones, these absolute piss ants who sit here and think that they know all the greats about music. I'm here to tell you, I'm from Minnesota. I fucking know Prince. I live Prince. I grow up Prince. And let me tell you, Prince is over fucking rated. Prince is an artist who can't sing. He's an artist who is a hack. He is only good. He is only good at plucking his little guitar. And let's. I'm gonna take it back to the show. 1980s. It's a little show that happened where James Brown, he's performing. Godfather of music, man. That man's great. He's doing his thing. He's doing his fucking show, and he's alerted to the fact that both Michael Jackson and Prince are in attendance to the show, and he alerts the audience that they are there, and they ask them both to come up on stage. Michael comes up first, and he doesn't do anything but dance. He gets up, he does his dancing. They give him a microphone. He does ad-libs over James Brown's song while his band's playing. He compliments James Brown perfectly. He just gets on, does his thing, and then he leaves. Prince comes on. He takes the guitar away from the lead and just goes down shredding it. And the applause is significantly less than Michael Jackson. And what does this motherfucker do? Throws down the guitar and stomps off like the little bitch he is. Prince is
He's
a garbage.
Dead.
He's a good. He's a garbage human being. He's a garbage artist. I hate him. But he also made like a really good song for Batman. But that's like really all about it. And Purple Rain's okay. But this, let's be very honest. Prince. Okay, now the straight off. I don't really like Prince very much. I think he's very overrated. But I do think that if Purple Rain had been the one that was here, right? If Purple Rain had been here, I'd still be offended. There should never be a Prince song higher than a Michael Jackson song. That is just an absolute travesty. If you do that, you don't actually like music. You're Payson Johnson. You don't like music. You sit here and you think the epitome of music is whatever Wiz Khalifa put out last Saturday on his SoundCloud. Like, Prince should never be above Michael Jackson. I'm sorry. But when it comes to Prince's own catalog, you're going to pick When Doves Cry over Purple Rain to be number 37? I'm sorry.
Well,
When Doves Cry.
We haven't seen Purple Rain yet.
Oh, well, let me guess. Purple Rain's probably going to be way the fuck up there, and the highest Michael Jackson song is going to be at 44, and Purple Rain's going to be like, oh my god, it's the best song ever. Rolling Stones needs to stop being paid off by Big Prince Corporation and shut the fuck up. Because Purple Rain is good.
Who even is the Big Prince Corporation?
It's all the big wigs down in downtown Minneapolis, St. Paul, Brooklyn. I've met them.
Is it Grimace because he's like the biggest Purple fan?
No, it's the big wigs like Ziggy Wilf down in Minneapolis, Brooklyn. That's who it is. It's the fat cats living up in fucking Willis Tower in fucking downtown Minneapolis. I hate it. They're sitting in their offices at US. They're sitting in their little US Bank Stadium, their little office hidden in the point, and they need to be exterminated. All of them sitting in the offices above the Orpheum Theater, thinking they know their shit. Get the fuck out of here. Just because Prince is from here.
Okay, Grandpa, time to go.
Prince, in all reality, When Doves Cry being above Billie Jean is offensive, and I'm very irritated by this. You probably should get Jake Marangoni in here to talk about why Prince is great, but I'll tell you why Prince is overrated any day of the week.
Well, thank you for that, Coho.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
fuck this song.
I'm gonna upset you by saying I don't know which one I like better between those two. I think it depends on the day. Because I actually really like this song a lot. It's arguably my favorite Prince song.
Party
and
Man.
I'm-
Party Man is a better song than When Doves Cry, and it's not even a contest.
All right, Mr. Producer Man, can you like mute him or something? Okay. So, I'm someone who respects Prince a little bit more than I love Prince. I think that he's got a few good songs that I absolutely do love, but as a whole, I respect him more than I love his music. His music, I should say. And this is probably my favorite Prince song. It's got a tight groove to it. Lyrically, I think it's one of his more interesting songs, and I think that he sounds great on it. That melody for the chorus is sticky as hell. You want to say something?
I'm just. Oh yeah, go ahead, Brooklyn. Sorry.
I was gonna say. Okay, so a couple things. I'm on Team Coho on this. Billie Jean should be above When Doves Cry.
Oh yeah, at least 20 spots higher minimum.
Yeah. When Doves Cry is great. I like the chorus. The chorus is great. Like Alone in the World So Cold. Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. The verses are kind of forgettable. It's catchy. Like it has that same kind of uplifting beat that like almost all Prince songs have. But this is not the song that I throw in here. I would probably throw in Let's Get Crazy. Because I think that is.
I think Let's Get Crazy is really good, but not great.
Okay, yeah, and that's fair. You could also throw in. Have we talked about Little Red Corvette yet, or no?
No, we did not.
No.
If I were to tell you that the song 1999 is significantly better than every song except Purple Rain from the Purple Rain soundtrack, that is a factual statement.
That was in the low 300s.
Well, that shouldn't be in the top
high 300s.
Where was this? Here is the ultimate.
How many Prince songs have come up?
Where was this song last year?
Hold on, Brooklyn, just real quick. I think we've talked about
1999.
This is probably the fourth.
Yeah.
And how many Michael Jacksons were talked about?
I think Billie Jean was the third.
We talked about I Want You Back. We haven't talked.
Well, that's Jack 5, so technically
that's
four.
That's still Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I would just count it. Just count it. That counts.
Yeah. So I Want You Back, Beat It, and the one from Off the Wall that I'm blanking on. Rock With You.
So we're sitting at 4 apiece.
I think so.
And we know Billie Jean's the highest Michael.
Possibly.
And we haven't talked about Purple Rain yet.
Correct.
Motherfuckers are going to give more Prince songs on the top 500 than Michael Jackson. How do you do this? When Prince is literally Prince of pop, and Michael Jackson is the king of pop. He was skull fucking him through the entire 80s. Michael Jackson was singing circles around Prince from day one.
Dear Diary, today I have an image that is stuck in my head forever.
How? I just really want to know what the Rolling Stones' process for picking songs are. Because is it just they throw a dartboard at an artist and they put the same 12 artists on the board and then they have like 7 other artists up against the wall and they just throw a dart and whatever hits, they go, oh yeah, whatever their biggest song is, we'll do that. And then every time they throw the dart and they hit the same artist again, they're like, okay, just go down and pick the next one, we'll just put it lower.
No, like what they did for this list is they actually they were inspired by a South Park episode because South Park actually revealed to the world that how Family Guy figures out their episodes. They get a manatee to grab balls and they bring them up. So they just had a manatee pick random balls with artist names on it, and they're like, well, Prince has to be above Michael Jackson. Where are we going to put this?
This is actually, I'm not even going to lie. This is maybe the most offensive decision that they've made on this list so far. And that includes they put like Lizzo. They put like Lizzo like 30 spots higher than Billie Eilish.
They put
like,
Thank You Next above Billie Eilish.
Yeah, like this is like maybe the single most offensive thing I've seen on this list though, is that they have probably more than one Prince song above the best Michael Jackson song. And the two that they decided, I'm going to assume it's two. I'm going to choose to believe that there are only two, because if there are more, I might not make it back to the next show. I'm going to choose to believe that they picked Purple Rain and When Doves Cry as being both better than Billie Jean, the best Michael Jackson song. And if they decide to do that, then I think every single person at the Rolling Stone needs to take a good, hard look at the man in the mirror and fuck their own face.
So real quick, with that being said, do you want to? Okay, so remember where Billie Jean was on the list last time, 2010 one?
It was like what, 50 something? 58. Okay.
Where do you think When Doves Cry was?
I'm gonna guess it was probably at like, I don't know, 501.
54.
So they've always been idiots.
They've
They've always been wrong.
Oh, I'm gonna ask you. So I know who some of the voters are. Do you want to know?
Personally? You know them personally? Can I get emails?
Not personally. No, not personally.
But because I got some very strongly worded letters to write.
I want to ask you, how do you like AJR?
Did AJR vote on this list?
AJR voted on this list.
Holy shit. Like, I like AJR's music fine, but are they in any way qualified to vote on the top 500 songs of all time? No. I like them. Like, let's be honest.
Sober Up should be on this list next time around.
Sober Up?
Yeah. I will fucking kill people.
I like Sober Up, but I'm going to be honest with you. The best song they've ever put out is a little song called Bang.
And I would agree with that, actually.
And that song should be on the top 500 at like...
Or Don't Put Away My Legos.
$4.99. Put Bang.
The Nazario Montenegro ballad. Don't put away.
All I'm saying is if we get to the next top 100, 500, whatever it is next time, and there's still Prince on this list, period, I will burn this list to the ground. But on top of that, if they put it above Michael Jackson, I'll be mad. Also, there should be like 6 Billie Eilishes on the next iteration of this list, and if it's not, let's burn this whole list to the ground.
I'll make a wager with you that there are under 4 Billie Eilish songs.
How offensive is that, though? Because all of them should be from the first album. Every single song from the first album should be on the top 5. That's not true. But at least 4 to 6 songs from the first album should be on here. Like, Listen Before I Go should be in the top 100. Bury a Friend should be in the top 75. Bad Guy can be in like the 500 to 400 range. That's fine. And then you got to put like All the Good Girls Go to Hell on this list. Where the fuck is Wish You Were Gay? That should be on this list. I forgot Brooklyn doesn't like good music and thinks Billie Eilish is bad when she's like the most important artist in music in the last 8 years. But sure.
I think we'll be talking about that person later. Maybe spoilers? I didn't look at this list ahead of time.
Billie Eilish? Does she have another one?
I mean,
Bad Guy was like in like 400 range.
Koho, if you want, you can stay backstage and listen to the rest of this if you want. But I think Brooklyn and I should start moving on.
Yeah, you move on. I've had a good time interrupting your show. Everyone who votes on the top 500 for Rolling Stones that is listening to this podcast, please, next time you do this, do the right thing. Exercise Prince from your list. If you put Purple Rain on here, that's fine, but put it at 500 where it belongs. It's an okay song. It's mid. And then do yourself a favor. When you do the next top 500, you put Purple Rain by Prince at 500. And 499 to 1 are all the rest of Michael Jackson's music. Because that is just you could take the song that Michael didn't even sing on Michael, and it's better than most of Prince's catalog.
Even Scream.
Even Scream. Put Scream You put that Heartbreaker dubstep. You put every single song he has ever made. You put all the Jackson and Jackson 5 catalog in front of Prince, because that's a fucking fact.
If Mr. Producer Man didn't like you so much, I think I would have taken you up.
Ben, this love song for a rat, better than Purple Rain, and I'll stand by it.
Jesus Christ.
With that, I'm gonna go do Picture This. Watch Picture This every Sunday on the channel. Picture This, where Matthew Chen, me, Adelaide Spence, Alex Martinez, and fucking did I say Matthew Chen? Jack Pinchot. We are going through every best.
Forgets the Canadian.
We're going. Well, he's also high all the time, so we're gonna go through those 5, and we're gonna go. It's a Canadian thing. We're gonna go through all of the best picture winners week by week by week. This week we're talking about Cimarron. We're on week 4 by the time this goes out. I don't know if that's accurate anymore, but still,
it'll have come out. This episode will have come out on Monday. So what's the one after Cimarron?
The next week we'll be covering Grand Hotel. So it's gonna be a good time. Gonna be a good time.
Right.
So, all right, bye guys.
Thank you so much for coming, Coho. But yeah, watch Picture This. It's actually a really good show. I like it.
We really have to lock the door next time.
We really should. Mr. Producer Man apparently has listened to too much Silk Sonic recently, and he left the door open. So number 36. Yeah, I know that was real bad. Number 36. The White Stripes with Seven Nation Army.
You want to talk about a banger of a song with the most well-known opening ever? Don't. I don't play instruments, but that is the only riff I've ever learned on a guitar. And then when Meg White comes in with the simple beat, it is a banger. Seven Nation Army is absolutely amazing. Everybody knows Jack White is going to Wichita, and Meg White with the simplest, greatest, most just heart-inducing drum beat to just get you go. Bruh, Seven Nation Army deserves to be top 50 song ever. It is dope as fuck. Yeah, lovely.
Thank you, Rue. Once again, I think the door was just completely unlocked. Brooklyn, your thoughts?
That was him. No, he didn't come in through the door. He just tapped on the window. Nobody responded. So he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to see what I say anyways."
But
okay, I'll say that I'll keep this short, but it's probably going to be long. This song is, I feel like it's written for our generation, and it should be here. But this is like, it's getting overplayed. It's getting used a lot in sporting venues. It has a lot of hype. It is great, but it's similar to how like some people use the ole 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 chant, where it's like, that's a great build. It's a great build up, and it's a great kind of like way to get people together. I love hearing that bass line being like echoed in sports stadiums, because I think it has such a carry to it. But yeah, this is way too fucking high. This should be like just outside of the top of the top 100. It's a shame that this is the only White Stripes song that we're talking about. We're not talking about Icky Thump. We're not talking about Fell in Love with a Girl. The song that, or even the song that opens Napoleon Dynamite. We're Gonna Be Friends, I think it's called.
That's not the White Stripes.
Or is that just Jack White?
That's not Jack White either.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry. Last thing I'll say, we're also not talking about the Raconteurs, his supergroup, and Steady As She Goes, because I would personally put Steady As She Goes over Seven Nation Army. That is fucking bop and a half.
And I could be completely wrong. I might be thinking of the wrong song that you were talking about. So look that up while I am going on. I friggin' love this song. First of all, I'm going to do it again. It's not a bass line. It's just a really, really low guitar register. Now that I got that pretentious bit out of the way, I think that the drive in this song is... No, I will not stop. It is not a bass line. Even though I know how to play this song on bass, actually, it's one of the few songs I do know how to play on bass.
Everybody learns this song. Like it's kind of similar.
It's the bass version of "Smoke on the Water."
Yeah.
But yeah, the drive is incredible. The crunch of those guitars, the power behind it. Meg White. Okay, let's talk about Meg White as a drummer, because
simple. Extremely simple. It works.
She's the most
very simple.
Yeah. Is she the most technically proficient drummer? No, but you know what? She's sort of like Ringo Starr in the sense that if you need someone to carry the beat and do it correctly and just tight and not waver, Meg White is a really great example of that. So it's not flashy, but it's steady, it's firm, and it's got power to it. The precision is just money. And I think the other thing I really like about the song is that Jack White is a vocalist who I either think is the perfect vocalist on something, or it's not. It doesn't fit. It doesn't click. And the White Stripes is like peak Jack White as a vocalist, because there's a menace behind his vocals, which is just real nice. There's a reason that this song gets played as often as it does in stadiums and things like that. Fun fact, Brooklyn, where was this song last time on the list?
Probably, we'll say 69 for shits and giggles.
Nice. No, 286.
Okay. So, 286. 286. I can get behind.
I'm okay with it here.
Yeah,
personally. Tiny Dancer though might be a little rough.
Yes, yeah. Above Tiny, it's weird. I would still keep Paper Planes over Tiny Dancer. I would put Tiny Dancer over Seven Nation Army. But do I put Seven Nation Army above Paper Planes? Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah, I think we do. Speaking of which, let's move on to number 35, Tutti Frutti.
Sorry, the fact check as well. It is, We're Going to Be Friends is a White Stripes song.
It is a White Stripes song. Interesting. I always think it's someone else for some reason. But we're not talking about that song. We're going to talk about Tutti Frutti by Little Richard. And we already had Good Golly Miss Molly lower on this list. I think Good Golly Miss Molly is a better song than Tutti Frutti, if I'm going to be completely honest. Do I like Tutti Frutti? Yeah, absolutely, on Rudy. But the dad jokes are coming out today. But I think that Good Golly Miss Molly is the better song of the two. So I don't even think I would put Tutti Frutti in the top 100. 150, sure. But I think this one's a little high. Brooklyn?
No, I agree with you. This is also a touch too high. It's the first song you think of when Little Richard comes up. I love the piano in this and the drive that it has. But we're talking about the kind of the falsetto that Michael Jackson has. He doesn't get that without Little Richard. And I know you're talking about it last episode when we were talking about Good Golly Miss Molly. Because everybody should be giving a royalty to Little Richard for that, for those moments. Yes. Yeah.
Anytime an artist goes whoo, Little Richard is owed money. I think we've covered this one good enough. There's not really much to say about this.
No.
You ready?
Yeah. This should probably take another dip, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to number 34. Papa's Got a Brand New Bag by James Brown. We brought James Brown up earlier when Coho interrupted us so rudely. I think that this might be my favorite James Brown song. Which is weird because lyrically, like Get On Up or Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud are more lyrically interesting songs by James Brown, but it's that band. It's his band that just they're the ones behind why this song is so good, in my opinion. A lot of the lyrics are just like do the monkey and do the fly and like things like that, and just like listing off dance moves. If I'm remembering correctly, I think I might be switching this with other songs. Brooklyn, help me out.
What do you mean? Oh, so,
fact check us in the comments if this is the song I'm thinking about, where he's just naming off dance moves.
Oh, is this? I thought that was. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let's move on. I think the song is great, though. I think 34 is an okay spot for this. I think, once again, I put Tiny Dancer higher, but I'm okay with this being in the top 50. The band is incredible on this song.
So you are kind of right. He is listing off dance moves, but he's more so pointing them out. Like, it's like, hey, he's doing the fly.
Yeah. Okay,
Papa,
good.
He's doing the jerk. If only could we go back to that time where it was like, hey, I'm gonna do the rapper. What's the rapper? You unfrill, I guess.
Yeah.
I would put, but we're talking about like all the songs that James Brown has had on this list so far. I would put Get On Up over this one, which is weird because I'm normally attached to music as opposed to the lyrics. But I love the kind of the storytelling and the charisma that you have in Get On Up. I love certain things in this song. I think the horns are great. It's become sort of it's become the gold standard, I think, for blues rock, which is a double-edged sword because it's great, but this style has been improved upon and done better as artists have come and gone.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to number 33, which is Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. This one's dropped a lot, considering the last, I think, reading it the last time. Brooklyn, talk about this song while I find out where this was last time.
Chuck Berry needs to be talked about more. For some reason, maybe it's just America, they stan Elvis Presley as the king of rock and roll. Well, put your peanut butter banana sandwich down. Chuck Berry needs to take that spot. The drive that this song has is, I know I've said it before, unmatched. But like cover bands can't quite replicate it. Especially when you get to that, oh no, oh Johnny go, and you don't know, like, I would honestly, I would love to hear the song live. I think it would be, I would like to go back in time, and hear it like just coming out, and to see like how it really hit society.
Yeah. I'm going to keep this one short. First of all, last time it was number 7. So this has dropped. Yeah, this was a top 10 song on the 2010 list. Yeah, but I'm going to keep it relatively short. The groove in this is just money. It's perfect. And the guitar, it's iconic. The moment you hear that guitar, you know it's Chuck Berry. You know it's this song. And some of the lyrics on here, he plays a guitar just like ringing a bell. Oh, go. So good. And it's nice to see a song that was written by just Chuck Berry on here. So let's move on to number 32, which is Baby Juicy by Notorious B.I.G.
It was all a dream.
Used to read Word Up magazine. Remember Rappin' Duke? Yeah, okay. I'm so happy that this song is here because there's this guy online called The Rap Critic, and he talked about this song, and he kind of compared it to Drake's Started from the Bottom when that song came out. And what he brought up about Juicy is that it's a song about the climb. It's about where you were then versus where you are now, and giving you the details about it. Whereas Started from the Bottom basically is just like, yeah, but now I'm here, and like, okay, but why is this climb such a big deal for you? Like, what about your past life when you weren't doing this was so bad? And Juicy is like the perfect song that makes you understand why he is so appreciative of where he's at now. Just like some of the lyrics of just even the opening, like when he's talking about how like all the people that told him that he wasn't going to be successful, like the teachers and the neighbors and people like that.
This album is dedicated to all the teachers who told me I never amount to nothing. To all the
exactly.
The buildings that I was hustling in front, called the police on me when I was trying to make some money to feed my daughter. It's all good. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby.
It is the best song ever about the ascension to where he's at now and the gratefulness that he has for it. It's amazing. I said it before on the show. I think that Biggie Smalls was a literal genius. Because the way that he will just like ride a beat, slip into the pocket, slip out when he needed to in the right moment, it's incredible. This is the best example of that. Brooklyn.
Yeah, one of the great, like, the key to a great hip hop song is the beat and the mix, and it fits so well with his style. I love the delivery, like especially when you get into some lines where it's like, sorry, a second here. Where is it? I let my tape rock till my tape popped. Smoking weed again.
Sorry, Brooklyn, do that again. The internet cut out here.
Ah, dang it. I let my tape rock till my tape popped. Smoking weed and bamboo, slipping on private stock. Similar to how Kendrick is great on the one beat, Notorious B.I.G. is best on the four beat. It's best to like let him build up and let him kind of end on that bang. I am also curious if sardines were eaten more for dinner after the song came out.
Yeah, like that line itself.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, oh, this is how I become successful. Oh, let's eat sardines for dinner, and they don't know the struggle.
Yeah, that line alone is just like a good example of a then to now lyrical decision. Like now we're birthdays were the worst days. Now we sip champagne when we're thirsty. Just like incredible lyricism. One of the greatest hip hop songs of all time, in my opinion.
Also, there's such a great divide in between like the radio version and the unedited version. It's like on the actual version, it's like if you don't know, now you know.
You know.
And then, yeah, and then on the radio version, it's just like if you don't know, now you know. You know. It just echoes off. It's like it has two entirely different emotional beats.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to number 31 because this episode's getting real long. Wow. Okay, I can't get no satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. I'm going to do the same thing as the Johnny B. Good one. Brooklyn, talk while I find out where this was.
Yeah, I'm going to double down on my general opinion of Rolling Stones. This is overplayed, overrated. Not the best Rolling Stones song. I don't understand why it's in here, because I think the style has been done better in terms of just building layers as the song goes on. Because like it starts off with that riff, and that riff is catchy. It's similar to Soap in the Water, where it is where everyone wants to replicate it and learn to play it. I just think, other than I can't get no satisfaction, what other lyrics do you remember in this song?
When I'm driving in my car and the man comes on the radio. Ha! 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 Smoked him. I really love this song, actually. This is one of my favorite Stone songs. It's not my favorite one. We haven't talked about my favorite one yet, so I'm hoping that comes up later.
Don't
This
worry,
song,
Miss You will be on here at some point.
So yeah, the guitar line in this is just absolutely incredible. It's iconic for a reason. The drums on this just sound fantastic. I think the mix in this is amazing. Is it like the most lyrically impressive song ever? No, but they locked themselves in a room and tried to write a hit, and this is what they came up with, and it worked. This is, as I said, this isn't my favorite Rolling Stones songs. It's not my personal favorite, but you want to know where this was the last time, Brooklyn?
I want it, like, knowing this list, it was probably in top 50. This was number two.
This was number 2. So
that's textbook pandering.
Let's see where this ends up next time. I would say still top 100, but maybe slides. So let's move on to number 30. Yeah, there she is. Royals by Lorde.
We'll never be royals.
Now that we cut it off just in time to not get slapped with copyright, I'm conflicted. I really like this song. I think that this song really is incredible. I think it definitely deserves to be on this list. But I'm conflicted as to whether or not I think this is just too high in general or far too high. Because I will make the argument that the pop scene changed drastically when this song came out. Studios were trying to find the next Lorde. And so many copycats came out after this. And still to this day, I would even argue studios are still trying to find the next Lorde alongside the next Billie Eilish. Because there's just something about that husky tone that she has, which is very unique. You know it's Lorde right away. I love how sparse the instrumentation is, but the production is just rich and dense enough that it still sounds incredibly spacious. And lyrically speaking, it's definitely a song that speaks to a lot of younger people. So top 100, I would argue yes, but I don't know if I would say this is too high or not yet. Brooklyn, I know you'll probably have a stronger opinion on this.
Not so much. I think that this is in the top 50 for sure, and I think next time around this is going to stay in the top 50. I love the spaciousness that you get in this, especially when you get into when the chorus cuts off and the verse comes in. Let me live that fantasy, and then it's like my friends and I we've cracked the code, and instead of that, it's kind of hard to, because when you were like I'm torn for a second, and it was hard to not be like, I know Weird Al's Foils is also a great song. I love the paranoia in that.
It is really good though.
But yeah, talk about lyrics that grab you. I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies. It's weird enough. But it's like, all right, well, tell me more about what you want to say.
I do love the song's like scathing sarcasm and sense of not parody. I'm trying to think of the word, but you know what I mean.
Flattery?
Just like
imitation that's greatest form of flattery, something like that.
No. It's like parody, but it's not. So satire. the build up to the chorus with the gold teeth gray goose line, like that part, the tigers on a gold leash thing is just like such an absurd flash of wealth. Yeah, I love this song a lot. So I conflicted on where it should fall in the top 100, but definitely deserving of it. Let's move on to number 29. Nothing but a G thing, baby. Dr. Dre, featuring Snoop Doggy Dogg at the time. Brooklyn, how about you start us off?
This is a great example of why Dr. Dre is one of, if not the best producer ever. It's how he builds a song, and Dr. Dre was one of the, not necessarily the pioneers, but one of the people to really push sampling and how you can kind of take little snippets of a song and really like kind of transplant them into this entire new thing. One of the trends that Dr. Dre uses that I think really works is how he used those super high synths. So I think it really works for especially Snoop Dogg and himself because they have lower registers and they're not as what's the word I'm looking for? Not illiterate, but they're not as enunciative. I guess they don't enunciate their words as much. It's more smooth and buttery. And I think it works to have that high contrast in the beat. Because like you think about like guys that are like smooth and like don't really like they give off the vibe that they don't really give a fuck. And, like everything's kind of all right, and this is kind of this.
Yeah, I think that this is one of the greatest uses of a sample of all time. I didn't even know that it was a sample until like a little while ago. They sampled the bass line from a Leon Haywood song called "I Want Do Something Freaky to You," which for 1975, like that's risque. But yeah, no, it's one of the greatest sample uses of all time. The dichotomy between Dre and Snoop's tones is like peanut butter and jelly. They fit together so well with Dre's. Dre's got a little bit more of an attack on his delivery, just like ever so slightly. Whereas Snoop is like very laid back and he's doing a Snoop thing. Yeah, incredible song. Totally understand why it's here. Blew the doors wide open for gangsta rap. So yeah, absolutely deserving of being on the list. I think this is a good spot for it personally. Moving on to number 28. Yeah. All right. Once in a Lifetime by Talking Heads. Brooklyn, you go first because I'm gonna nerd out.
I don't know whether to take this song seriously or not. It's great. But like you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. It's lines like that where it's like you're trying to say something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but when I figure it out, I feel like I'm gonna look at the song in an entirely different context. I'm still in that it's like this is, if we're talking about like almost like Dungeons and Dragons in a sense, and where it goes into like lawful good, lawful neutral, or yeah, lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good, and like all that stuff. This is chaotic good at its greatest, where it's just David Byrne, I think, is the vocalist on this.
Yep.
He's been hitting this. I would probably put the other song that we talked about.
This is the place.
Yeah, This Is the Place. I think that one has a much easier listen. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts as a massive Talking Head fan.
I fucking love this song. So David Byrne purposefully wanted to deliver this song as if he was like a fire and brimstone preacher. That's why it's as stilted and shouty and delivered the way it is, which I thought was a brilliant move. So this album, Remain in Light, was a very experimental album for them. They wanted to work with like loops and things like that. And they got Brian Eno to produce this song, like one of the greatest producers, this album, one of the greatest producers of all time. It's just, first of all, the music itself in this is just incredible. The instrumentation, the production loops on here, David Byrne's delivery. And it's one of those iconic songs where you don't forget those lines. Especially Same As It Ever Was. 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 Letting the days go by, letting the water hold me down. All right, I'm going to stop there.
Hold me down.
And it's trying to remember what he said the song was actually about. I'm pretty sure it's our like half. Let me see here. Oh, they do say it here. So David Byrne says, we're largely unconscious. You know, we operate half awake or on autopilot and end up whatever with a house and a family and job and everything else. And we have to stop and ask ourselves, how did we get here? I think that's just a really, really brilliant thing to work off of. It's a very interesting, unique concept that it's kind of got a really good point. Like, how did we get here? Like, I don't know how Brooklyn and I got here. This is weird.
I think they covered this in an episode of Family Guy. If we were all born,
everyone's covered this song, Brooklyn. Kermit the Frog covered this. The Muppets did it.
No, but they covered how we came about into this life. The genie we just looked over, boop, boop, and that's how we all came about. That's how the bird grew created. I Dream of Genie. I think, yeah.
I love you, Brooklyn. All right, let's move on to the next song before we get too existential or off the rails. Too late.
Off the rails on this show? No. Fuck's sakes.
Yeah, baby! Born to Run by Bruce, Mother, Love, and Springsteen and the goddamn E Street Band. I'm going to let go Brooklyn have his trash opinions second. I'm going to go first. This is one of the greatest songs ever made. This is Bruce Springsteen's best song, in my opinion. This is the exact definition of what a great Bruce Springsteen song is. Man, just the instrumentation on this is wild. It's incredible. It sounds exactly like a screaming highway. The lyrics on this song are some of the most descriptive, incredibly crafted lyrics I've ever seen in my life, or heard in my life, I should say. The highway's jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power drive. What an incredible line that is. Bruce Springsteen sounds incredible on this. He is throwing every inch of his soul into these lyrics and these vocals. It's just an explosion of freedom and just relief and energy. It is incredible. And I wish Scott Harvey was here so we could tell you why you're wrong, Brooklyn, but go ahead.
So part of the reason that I hate this song is also part of the reason that I hate Thunder Road. And I figured out why. Bruce takes the riff of this speeds it up a little bit, and has it as a reoccurring theme in Thunder Road. Here's what I mean.
It's called a motif.
It is a motif, but it's also when two of your best songs use the same musical tendencies, that's where I'm like, are you great, or did you just happen to catch lightning in the bottle? Because you get that riff like do and then you get to Thunder Road and you get to the line, we got one last chance to make it real. The piano has that exact same fall off, and I was like, this is why I think you're an unoriginal hack. is because you just have one idea. You had one idea, and it was okay. And again, and I'll say again, talking great Bruce Springsteen songs. We need to talk about "I'm on Fire." But I also understand that like Bruce Springsteen is to America what Stan Rogers is to East Coast Canada. Blue collar working man. I think it also works for. I think the style also works because it has that like, it's that more industrial sound, and it fits more for like this, like the kind of the steel factory workers and whatnot. It's very rugged or rough edged. I guess as you would say.
All right, I'm stopping this insanity right now.
Right here, right now.
I swear to God, if you say better song, I'm going to throw fists. Let's move on to the next and final song in this section of the list, A Case of You by Joni Mitchell. I'm going to make this super short because we're almost at 2 hours. It is a very good song. It's a beautiful song. I think Joni Mitchell is such a fantastic songwriter. I think this was like her and James Taylor, even though James Taylor's not really credited. And yeah, it's a fantastic song. I think 26 is a little high, to be completely honest with you. But a great song nonetheless. She sounds great. The guitar in this song sounds great, and lyrically, it's very, very interesting, even though it is very poignant.
Yeah, sorry. I had to remind myself what the song sounds like. It's okay, I guess, for Joni Mitchell's discography. As soon as you mentioned James Taylor, it kind of rings a bell. It has that very kind of like play the chord first, then say the line, and then get into the next chord, or whatnot. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with having Joni Mitchell in the top 30. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we're at the end. We don't have anyone to like do our traditional thing with, but Brooklyn, if you had to pick one song that you thought was the best out of this section, what would it be?
This is actually this is tough. The last few have been like pretty easy in terms of like clear-cut number ones for me. I think, you know what? As much as Coho talks about how Prince shouldn't be above Michael Jackson, I do think that Billie Jean is the best song in this section. As much as I want to be the contrarian that I know that I can be, Billie Jean is it's my favorite.
Fair enough. So originally, I think in this section, I was going to go with Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division. I think that's an incredible song, and it's just like super heartbreaking and emotional. But just for the bullshit slander you gave it, Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen is the best song in this section. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm not even going to give Brooklyn a chance to talk. Thank you for watching, everyone. For Brooklyn Vale and for myself, keep on rocking.